So here, this is the 19th episode of Just Reasoning. Over that time period, we've had to talk about a lot of innocent black people getting killed by the police. Right? George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, a bunch of it's a continuing subject that comes on here. And so this one, it's going to have a different angle to it, but it's the same. It's the same nonsense from the police standpoint. It's the same foolishness. So in a town, I think called Wolf, Texas, it's like an hour outside of Dallas.
Yeah, Wolf. Yeah.
Yeah. A black man, 31 years old, named Jonathan Price. He was at a gas station. Some sort of domestic disturbance was going on between two people inside of the store. And apparently he was trying to break it up. And, one thing led to another, and the police were called. So this is not his fight. He's breaking up a fight. Police are called. Police show up to the scene, white police. And all this is on surveillance. The surveillance hasn't been released yet, but I think it's going to be very bad. But basically, he, from the way that the family attorney has explained it, something happened for them to tase Mr. Price. And while he was tased, the reaction of his body, you get tased, you react as you react. And that resulted in him pumping X amount of shots into Jonathan Price and killed him. Tragic, and you know how, again, as I mentioned, the video has not been released yet, but you must know how bad this is, because this happened, I think, like Friday night or something like that. Very recently.
Yeah, October 3rd.
And the cop has already been arrested and charged with murder.
I'm bummed out.
So you know how bad that. I mean, it's normally months. Why they're going back and forth. Are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? So it must be really bad. So that's a tragic story. The other angle to this, and that story is bad as it is. But what I want, where this goes here is because in looking over a lot of Jonathan Price's Facebook posts, it seemed like he thought that basically this couldn't happen to him. He made posts, just talking about, for one, belittling protests that have taken place for George Floyd. Making haha jokes with George Floyd. Saying if y'all ever see somebody on my neck, throw something at him, get him off. So, it's kind of minimizing. That's not something you really joke about. And so he's somebody who, kind of grew up with a lot of white friends. Fine, no problem. But, he was basically saying he's like he doesn't see color. And then he talks about some experience, he's had good experience with the police. I'm talking about how he's driven home drunk and this and that, and two white police pulled him over and they didn't go. So he basically thought that if I carry myself the right way, then this cannot happen to me. And because I looked through his Facebook page, there's a lot of posts with that same tone. And so this guy, what he didn't seem to realize that he's still a black man. Not only is he a black man, he was also a trainer, right? So he's a very muscular black man. And they fear your black skin regardless of how you look. But that's people who have that racist mindset, that's what they see first. But he thought, from looking at his post, that won't happen to me because I carry myself the right way and I behave right. I say yes sir, no sir, and I know some good white people, and I know some good police, so this can't happen to me. And as much as he is belittling others who have protested, what went on the last few nights, those same people are out there protesting on his behalf. right? So it's tragic, but that's an angle, you know, that's going to that people are going to be discussing. So that's the background of the story, and let's discuss it. Tex, what do you have to say about this unfortunate situation?
So let me start off by saying, no matter what his Facebook posts were or whatever views he had, it's unfortunate, the killing of any innocent person. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to say that first and foremost. Also, and get ready for this, people, because my views might be different from anybody else's. I believe he's a victim of his circumstances. And when I say that, I mean he's a victim of the way he was brought up. After reading the article, I was reading the article and it stated that, his second family, and he named two of them. Yeah. But from the context, what I gather, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, because you stated it, it seems like they were white. He talked about how they fed him, and he grew up with them and things like that. Here's the thing, though, their white privilege is not your white privilege.
It's not transferable to you, bro.
Their white privilege is not your white privilege. Okay. Yep. So therein lies the problem. He grew up in a small town, Wally, Texas, what may have you. He grew up, around white people, and that's
Star
great.
Athletes.
And a trainer and the family that helped him out. They're probably great people. I don't know, but they're probably great people. But what happens there, and like I say, he's a victim of his circumstances. He's probably never seen the things that we've seen. At the same time, it don't take me getting bitten by a snake to have sympathy for somebody that had been bitten by a snake. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, even though I grew up a certain way, I can look at somebody's situation and say, that shit ain't right. And with the certain climate that's going on right now, I have to be cautious in how I carry myself. So again, the situation is unfortunate, but again, I do believe he's a victim of his circumstance, no matter how wrong it is.
Yep.
JoJo looking like she can't wait to say something.
Jump in there, JoJo. Say something, Queen.
No, it's just I once again agree with Tex. A lot of what Tex said, but
you don't be talking about nothing.
Hello.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
He be spitting them facts. No, but whether he grew up sheltered, whether he was just naive, or whether he was one of those people who fortunately didn't judge people by the color of their skin and expected people to do that in return, whether like Tex said, he probably never encountered anything like this in person. He's probably seen it on TV, on the news. Oh my God, that's sad, that's bad, but I feel like that'll never happen to me. A lot of us, honestly feel like, it would never happen to us. We see it on TV so much, but until it's at your feet, until it's at your doorstep, you can't really relate. And so
it's sad. Yeah.
Right. It's tragic that either people can't understand it or can't be empathetic about it. But first and foremost, like Tex said, it's so sad that another person lost their life. And I don't know why, but for me, it hit a little bit harder because he was doing the right thing. He was trying to help out a domestic violence situation. And I've been that person who has tried to step in and think I was helping, and it could have went left. And I'm talking about, I've had to deal with guys who were beating on my friend, who had weapons, guns, didn't care about nobody, didn't care about police, didn't care about me as a female, taking up for her friend. So it's like you said, the video hasn't been released yet. We don't know the full 100, but at the end of the day, someone lost their life. I don't think he was a disrespectful person. I think his jokes were just in bad taste, and he didn't know how to express himself. And by him saying, he knew how to carry himself, yes sir, no sir. Yeah, well, that doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
that's part of that white privilege. What happened was he was part of a situation and thought he could go explain it to the police.
Right.
Yes.
He thought he could
It
be
don't
that
work
good
like
guy.
that.
Yes.
It don't work like that. Not
Which is
us.
unfortunate.
It don't matter.
Which is unfortunate. You
Exactly. It don't matter. It don't matter what the situation is. Whoever is involved, a black man approaching a police, no, you don't do it. Whatever they say do, you comply and pray they don't shoot you.
Mhm.
Unfortunately,
You don't try to explain nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. That is 100. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, I agree that yeah. So the family that he referenced, so he basically talked about more or less that he doesn't really see color because he was really cool with some white people growing up and they were like his second family. And then he talked about how they support him more than some of his own blood family and that. So he knew some good white people. So yes, do you have that? You get into that mindset that I probably go out a lot and probably see them talk to cops in your kind of way, and he's with them, and it all works out. But yeah, that's not transferable to you. That a cop shows up and it's an incident. There's a violent incident. Who knows? The cop showed up and probably thought that you were the aggressor in the situation, right? And so now they show up immediately. You are the suspect. It doesn't matter what happened before. They don't know you. They don't know your views. They haven't read your Facebook page. They haven't seen enough of that. They show up and they see a big muscular black man. Oh, he must be doing something, And it's tragic, But like I said, as much as he, minimize protests and minimize profiling. You had a few people talking about, they're gonna be profiling again, ha ha ha, that sort of thing. As much as he did that, in the streets right now in that city, Black people are protesting on his behalf. They don't care about your Facebook posts. They know that this was an innocent, unarmed Black man murdered by the police for no reason. So it just like any other situation, it doesn't get, so, I think it's relevant to bring up that conversation just to bring, the reason why I wanted to kind of talk about his post is not really anything about him. It's just because that is a mindset I've heard from many people. I've heard from, friends of mine who think that if I just carry myself a certain way, if I just, wear a nice button-up shirt, if I just say yes or no, sir, then these things cannot happen to you. Understand that it is the mentality of the officer that shows up. Anything can happen, so right. Trying to avoid police at all costs.
I think it is important to, it's really an unfortunate situation. I think it is important, though, that we educate our children and let them know what the situation is, because I think that he genuinely thought that he, like Tex said and like Chris said, they would definitely never experience that kind of situation. And the truth is, unfortunate as it is, racism has gone nowhere. Mm-hmm. We put it under the carpet for many years, or we sweep it to the side for many years, but it has really never been dealt with, which is why every few months or every few years or whatever, there's an uprising, and we are dealing with the same issue that we've constantly been dealing from prehistory. So we have to educate our kids. We have to, I watched a show one time, can't remember the name of the show. Maybe I'm camera shy or something. But
yes, I picked that up.
Young man and a young woman who, they grew up together basically, and they were trying out an intimate relationship when the police pulled them over in the car, and the young man was getting up out of the car, and the girl was saying, no, don't get up, don't leave out of the car, just stay where you are until the police comes and gives you direction. And he still got up, and when he was getting up, he came out of the car and he was taking his hairbrush from the back of his pocket. I don't know if
this sounds all bad.
Yes, he was taking the hairbrush.
Yeah, it sounds like a movie I saw.
That's like all the mistakes.
And then after that was an uprising, and there was this huge racism story. And I'm saying that it's so unfortunate that people can't look beyond the shade of your skin, your hue. I mean, seriously?
Yeah.
In the 21st century, why are we still debating and arguing on this?
Yeah, that the answer to that, that goes, way back, right? But it goes back hundreds and hundreds of years, and it's hard for me to think of. I don't know if it will never be eradicated from our world. We know that, but I think what helps is exposure to others, right? People who kind of grow up, in very sheltered circumstances. They don't know many people beyond their, they're white people and they only know a bunch of white people, and the only time that's the black people is on, they're watching a game or when they say, crime report or whatever you. So that's your perception. But the more that we have, and it has to start young. Kids aren't born racist.
Exactly.
Right? They're dealing with other kids, right? At some point they are taught that. And that's rather through their racist ass mommy and daddy and people in their environment. So the more that we can expose people outside of their little closed view of the world, it will have an impact. It will never be gone from our world. These attitudes have become this way over hundreds of years. So expose your kids to other cultures. It's very important.
Definitely. Well, I was watching the news release when it just come out. Me and my son was watching it. And my son asked me, Daddy, why police shoot him? And I said to him, Sean shot the man because he's black. Not more than that. They shot him, him tears him, and him say, boy, that look like that Naruto black man. And I shot him. And I mean, you have rumors all over the internet that talk about, they know each other, which is another level that, who knows, Sean might all see rude boy with one and girl, and Bex, we don't really know. Right? It's a small town, 1,400 people live in that town, right?
Yeah.
So it's a girl's case right there, so, right?
Yeah.
And Road Boy a big done about the place. A college star athlete.
He was mine.
Look at Sean.
I like how especially just completely make up a story. Yeah, man. All right. Yes.
Hey, that's the narrative. That's the narrative we might have.
But hear this now. You don't know where Sean now joined the police department because three of them in the police department, right? And the one little thing you do, they're not even trying to hear his side and just lock him up, so. How can I imagine them they are roll with my youth? Just lock him up, so we not even want to hear what you have to say.
That's because they saw the video. Obviously.
The views of Special do not represent the views of Sorrow Productions. But
hey, man, girl, man, you don't know. You take a man, girl. You have your eye on a girl in that place, and you see him a roll with Jonathan and stuff. I go find a way to get that brother there. What?
I do not neither deny or confirm.
Rest in peace.
Special
people in our city, you know him, man. You know him.
He probably does. I won't do the speculation thing, right? It's tragic. It's unfortunate. He from all I've heard, he was loved by many people. So out in the streets, a whole bunch of people marching on his behalf. Black people, white people, young people, old people. it's tragic, and you know, we want justice for him like we want justice for everybody else.
Exactly.
It was unjust. So, but I hope it. You know, one thing. I hope people kind of learn something from this. I know that we all have to walk carefully. None of us are immune, you know, from this. Walk in the place our black skin precedes us. So consider that.